Alright, so now we're back. So I've got some handle material here, and this is black and red linen micarta. So what they do is they take uh, fiberglass resin, epoxy, and they put a whole bunch of layers together, and they put it in a vise and mash it together, and it comes out in blocks like this. You can buy it in 2-inch blocks, you can buy it in 1-inch blocks, you can buy it in 4 by 10s, you can buy it in any configuration, and you can buy it in several places. And when you use the black and red or a dual color, it comes out really nice on your knife because you'll start seeing lines in different colors. So you'll see a black line, a red line, a black line, a red line, and it really makes your knife handle look amazing. So what we want to do is we're going to take, these are the knives we're going to use. This is the handle material we're going to use. So we're going to stick it on there, and we're going to make sure that the handle material we were using is going to cover the whole portion of our handle. And we're just going to be rough cutting this right now. So I take it up to my plunge line, and then I'm going to mark it. I'm going to cut this piece off, and I'm going to put it over here, put it on there. I'm going to cut that piece off, and I'm going to have 2 handle slabs. So I'm going to get to that portion, and then I'm going to show you how to drill the handle and make sure you get everything lined up properly for your handle to be placed onto your knife. So what I've done is I've cut out 2 handle scales, and basically the same size. And what I did was I placed my knife and I cut them to length, and then they're going to go on there, just like this. They're going to sandwich that blade, and then we're going to rough cut all that out. And I'll show you how we're going to do that here in a second. Right now we're going to drill the first set of holes. Alright, we're going to drill the first scale, and then we're going to take the pre-cut pins that I've already cut off. Just use the hacksaw in my vise, cut off the pre-pins, and they're about 1 inch long, so that they go through both sides of the handle scales and through the knife. I'm going to crank the drill up, and we're going to drill the first hole. Micarta drills pretty easily, so you don't have to use the vise, but you still want to make sure you're lined up. Get everything in here flat. Alright, so as you see, we've drilled our first hole. So now what we're going to do, and this may take a little bit of file work. Sometimes it works, sometimes it fits in perfectly. Fits right through the handle. And it's a little bit tight in the micarta as usual. So what I do, I have a little handy dandy set of files here. Some diamond files. Take the diamond file and I'll push it in there. Get all the burrs out. You want these pins to fit really tight, but you don't want them so tight that it's so hard that you can't get the handle material when you're gluing it with the epoxy. So you don't want to ream this hole out too much, just enough so that the pin fits inside there. Now the pin fits inside, so we're going to put a knife back on there. And that holds the knife while we drill the second hole. And we'll do the same thing with this one. We'll just get all that stuff out of there. And you can tap it in there just a little bit. And now our knife is holding, so we can drill our thong hole. Now we've got the thong hole done. We've got a pre-cut thong. It's going to fit right in there. And lots of times you have to deburr these. So when you deburr them, let me turn the camera around here. Now I'm gonna do this without my safety equipment, but you just take the burrs off, run them around your blade. I definitely would not do this with the 36 strap belt on here. We're just trying to get that burr off of there. Alright, getting the camera set up. As I said, first video. Bear with me. So now, blow out the thong hole. We'll stick it in there. And it's a little bit tight, as usual. So the thong material is a lot less, it's thin-walled. And you don't want to tap on it because it's going to malform it. So we're going to pull these pins out. Actually, we're going to take our file. Take a round file. We'll put in here. Just a bigger round file is all it is. And see if we can't get some of those burrs out of there. Alright, so now here's what I do. Put my two handle scales together, and I'm going to take, if I can find it, there we go. I'm going to take some masking tape and I'm going to tape them together so that they hold, well, so I don't have to hold them. So we just pull off a small piece of masking tape. Some guys will use double stick tape, adhesive tape, stuff like that. Masking tape works well. It doesn't leave a residue. So you get everything as even as you can. And now basically the tape is holding where you're going to drill. We're not at a critical point where everything has to be completely lined up yet. So this tape is going to hold exactly what we needed to do. Now we're going to stick it in the drill. We're going to drill our thong hole right straight through to the other scale. I'm going to take our file so that the thong fits in there. We're going to just ream it out a little bit. All right, thong hole's in there. So we're going to switch out bits. All right, now we're going to drill our other two holes. And when we do that, we're going to take our pin and we're going to stick that right through there. So it's just barely poking out. Now we're tight. So we know we're getting our holes square. And we're going to drill our final hole. And we'll stick our other pin right in there. Now everything is tight. We can pull our tape. And they're stuck together. Now we're going to check for alignment on our knife. So we'll pull our pins. Now this is where you have to be careful and figure out which pin is the left, or which scale is the left, which scale is the right. So I left a sticker on one, so that tells me that this is going to be left or right when I figure out how it goes on the knife. So that's the right side of the knife. What we're doing is we're putting these scales on here because we're going to rough cut them out on the grinder. And I got one pin giving me a little bit of problems, so I'm going to take the edges off of it. hopefully it fits better. And there we go. Now we've got our handle scales. They're square, but they're on there. And our pins are the right size. We've got the pin sticking here, and a pin stick in there. So we're going to tap this one through a little bit further. Alright, now they're holding. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to our grinder and we're going to rough cut all of this material before we actually glue the scales on. We're going to get rid of as much material as we possibly can. So let me get all my safety equipment on, let me get to the grinder and get everything set up, and we'll be right back at you.